Most people moving to Surrey make the same mistake. They think the entire city is the exact same. But here's the truth. Surrey Central isn't for everyone. Guildford isn't for everyone. Fleetwood isn't for everyone. So in this video, I'm breaking down what most buyers get wrong about Surrey and showing you exactly where you should buy in Surrey in 2025. My name is Dan. I'm a realtor in the Fraser Valley, and I work with a ton of people just like you. Families upsizing, first-time homebuyers getting into the market, investors chasing growth, and people relocating who want affordability but still want to be close to Vancouver. Here's what you need to know. Surrey is not just one thing. It's not just a suburb. Surrey is the second largest city in BC right now, and it's on track to pass Vancouver in population within the next decade. We're talking about 600,000 people, and already it's climbing extremely fast. But the mistake people make is treating it as one neighborhood when it really isn't. Surrey Central is not the same as South Surrey. Newton is not the same as Fleetwood. And Cloverdale is not the same as Guildford. Each of these areas has its own personality, its own future, and its own fit depending on what you want. So today we're looking at Surrey neighborhood by neighborhood. In part 1, I'll walk you through Surrey Central, Guildford, and Fleetwood. Then in part 2, we're going to cover Newton, Cloverdale, and South Surrey. I'm going to show you what life is really like in each one, what's changing, and what's coming next. Stick with me because by the end, you'll know exactly what part of Surrey fits you best. So let's start with the big picture. Why Surrey? First is growth. Surrey is one of the fastest growing cities in all of Canada. Families are moving here for more space, more schools, and more opportunities. Developers moving here because Surrey still has land. Vancouver is basically built out, but Surrey has a ton of room to expand, and that's why so many projects are breaking ground here. Second is transit. The SkyTrain extension is under construction right now, running down Fraser Highway from Surrey Central through Fleetwood and Clayton, and eventually all the way down to Langley. It's going to completely change how people live, work, and commute in the area. Neighborhoods along the line are already transforming. Third is diversity. Surrey is one of the most multicultural cities in all of Canada. That shows up in restaurants, the shops, the community events, and the way people connect. It's one of the reasons people from all over the country feel home in Surrey. Fourth is the lifestyle. Surrey gives you a ton of options. You can live in a high-rise condo near Surrey Central, in a family neighborhood like Fleetwood, or in a heritage-style community like Cloverdale or an acreage in South Surrey. There's no single Surrey lifestyle, and it depends on which part of the city. And fifth is opportunity. Surrey is still more affordable than Burnaby or Vancouver, but it's growing extremely fast. The city is investing heavily in infrastructure, hospitals, schools, parks, and transit, and the decisions made over the next decade will completely reshape Surrey into something very different than it is today. That's the big picture, so now let's get into the neighborhoods. First up is Surrey Central. This is the downtown core of Surrey. It's where the SkyTrain hub is and where the tallest towers are. It's where the city is trying to build a true downtown. Life here feels urban. You can walk to SFU Surrey, you can walk to the library, City Hall, or Central City Mall. Restaurants, coffee shops, and high-rises are all within a few blocks. So what's coming? A ton of redevelopment. Surrey Central has some of the largest master plans in Metro Vancouver outside of Burnaby's Metro Town. Towers are going higher, new plazas are being built, and more businesses are moving in. By 2030, the skyline here will look completely different. The energy in Surrey Central is young and busy. It attracts students, professionals, first-time homebuyers, anyone who wants access to transit. So it's not the quiet suburban life. It's very dense, urban, and it's changing extremely fast. If you want to be at the center of the action and you don't mind growth happening all around you, then Surrey Central could be the hub. If you want peace and quiet, you probably won't find it here. Next is Guildford. Guildford is anchored by Guildford Town Centre, one of the biggest malls in the entire region. It feels suburban, but with everything you need very close by. Families love it because you get parks, schools, and shopping all in one place. Guildford has a very strong commuter vibe. You got easy access to Highway 1, so if you work in Burnaby or Vancouver, getting on the freeway makes life easier. That's a big reason why people choose Guildford over most areas in Surrey. What's coming? More redevelopment around the mall and along 104th Avenue. Guildford is slowly densifying with the new mid-rise buildings and community improvements. The city knows this area is a key link between Surrey Central and North Surrey, so they're investing in better transit and infrastructure. Life in Guildford is practical. It's suburban, but it's convenient. You got the mall, restaurants, recreation centers, quick access to the lower mainland. It's not flashy, but for families who value convenience and connectivity, Guildford just works. So now let's look at Fleetwood. Fleetwood is one of the most desirable neighborhoods in Surrey right now because of one word, and that's the SkyTrain. As soon as the SkyTrain extension down Fraser Highway was announced, Fleetwood became one of the hottest real estate markets in the entire city. Stations here are being built right through the neighborhood, which means residents here will soon have a direct line into Surrey Central, Burnaby, and Vancouver. What's life like here? Fleetwood feels suburban. It's family oriented with parks, schools, and community centers spread throughout. Compared to Surrey Central, it's calmer and more low rise, but with the new SkyTrain, that's most likely going to change. What's up and coming? A ton of rezoning. Along Fraser Highway, the city is planning for more density, meaning new townhomes, condos, and mixed-use developments. Over the next decade, Fleetwood will shift from a quiet suburban pocket to a more connected, urbanized hub. For now, it's still a favorite for families. You get good schools, safe streets, and local shopping. But at the same time, you're positioning yourself right along the new transit line, which will make this one of the most connected suburban neighborhoods in the entire Fraser Valley. Now let's talk about Newton. Newton is one of the most diverse areas in Surrey, and it's home to some of the biggest cultural hubs in the Lower Mainland. Life is busy, community-driven, and full of activity. When you think Newton, you think of community centers, parks, and cultural events. The Newton Recreation Centre is a gathering point. The Newton Athletic Park has massive sports fields. And if you love food, Newton has some of the best South Asian restaurants and shops all across Metro Vancouver. What's up and coming in Newton is redevelopment. The city knows Newton is central but older in parts, and they put forward plans to refresh the town centre, improve walkability, and create more public spaces. For the next decade, you're going to see parts of Newton transform into strip malls and into more vibrant hubs with housing above shops and better transit connections. The vibe in Newton is active and family focused. It's for people who want community, culture, and convenience. It's not polished like South Surrey, and it's not as urban as Surrey Central, but it's one of the most authentic parts of Surrey with a lot of energy behind its future. Next up is Cloverdale. Cloverdale feels different from the rest of Surrey. It has a small town charm with a historic main street, local shops, and community events that bring everyone together. If you've ever heard of the Cloverdale Rodeo, this is where it happened. It's a neighborhood with strong roots and a real sense of identity. Life in Cloverdale feels a little bit more slow and traditional. You've got heritage-style homes, family-friendly parks, and schools that anchor the community. It's the kind of place where neighbors just know each other and a ton of people stick around for a very long time. What's up and coming in Cloverdale is the growth on the edges. The downtown core of Cloverdale will keep its historic character, but the areas around it are seeing a lot of development. New townhomes and single-family neighborhoods are expanding outward, and the city is planning improvements to the town center to preserve its heritage while making it more walkable and connected. Cloverdale is for families who want stability and a strong community atmosphere. It's not as urban as Surrey Central and not as polished as South Surrey as well, but it's one of the most unique, character-driven parts of Surrey. If you want a neighborhood with tradition and small town feel inside of a growing city, Cloverdale delivers. Now let's move down to South Surrey. South Surrey has a reputation for being one of the most desirable parts of the city. It borders White Rock, has access to the ocean, and has some of the most upscale communities in the entire Fraser Valley. Neighborhoods like Morgan Creek and Grandview Heights are known for larger homes, newer amenities, and a more polished suburban feel. Life here feels very different than any other area in Surrey. You're close to Crescent Beach and White Rocks Promenade. You got big shopping centers like Grandview Corners and Morgan Crossing, but also quiet residential streets and golf courses. The schools here are strong, and the overall vibe is quieter and more refined compared to Central Surrey. What's up and coming in South Surrey is continued growth around the Grandview area. This area has exploded over the last decade with new schools, new parks, and more shopping, and it really isn't slowing down. The city's plans include more housing, more community centers, and better transportation connections. South Surrey appeals to families who want a suburban lifestyle with higher-end amenities, retirees who want peace and proximity to the beach, and professionals who prefer a little bit of a more quiet setting. If you want polished, family-oriented, and close to the water, South Surrey stands out. Now let's take a step back and see who fits where in Surrey. If you're a young professional or a student, Surrey Central is the obvious choice. You'll be right on the SkyTrain, close to schools like SFU and Kwantlen, and surrounded by a ton of growth. If you're a commuter who wants a more suburban life but quick access to Highway 1, Guildford can make sense. It's practical, it's convenient, and very well connected. If you're a family who wants a suburban life with transit on the way, Fleetwood is ideal. The SkyTrain extension is a game changer, and you'll still have that quieter suburban feel. If you want culture, community, and a busy lifestyle, Newton does deliver. It's vibrant, diverse, and it's always moving. If you want tradition, stability, and small town character, Cloverdale is where you'll feel at home. If you want polished suburban living close to the ocean with beaches, South Surrey is the right fit. Before we wrap up, let's cover the biggest mistakes people make when moving to Surrey. First mistake is thinking Surrey is all the same. It really isn't, and nothing could be farther from the truth. Each neighborhood has its own personality, its own strengths, and its own challenges. The second mistake is underestimating Surrey's size. Surrey is extremely large. Getting from South Surrey to Surrey Central can take 40 minutes or more, and the commute times add up fast. The third mistake is ignoring what's coming. The SkyTrain expansion is going to change Fleetwood, Clayton, and Surrey Central dramatically. If you're not factoring that in, you might miss opportunities or end up in the wrong spot. And the fourth mistake is chasing perception instead of reality. Some areas have reputations like higher crime in Surrey Central or Newton, but the reality is much more nuanced. You need to look past the headlines and see how the neighborhood actually feels. Avoid these mistakes and you'll have a much better decision about where in Surrey to live. So where should you live in Surrey in 2025? If you want urban living with transit at your doorstep, Surrey Central is the hub. If you want suburban convenience with easy commuting, Guildford work. If you want family life with future SkyTrain access, Fleetwood is strong. If you want culture and energy, Newton is the fit. If you want tradition and small town charm, Cloverdale delivered. And if you want polished living by the beach, South Surrey stands out. The truth is, Surrey is a city of neighborhoods, each with its own identity and future. The key is knowing which one fits your lifestyle. If you found this helpful, make sure to hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more in-depth guides where to live across the Fraser Valley. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.